your cousin, your next door neighbors, it's on you. Make sure that you do it correctly. I'm just I'm just saying that anytime there's a slip up, no I dotted, no T cross, they're gonna put it to the side. It's gonna totally delay them processing your application. And of course, it says in the review process of the applicant's documentation and direct lineage, it goes, please be aware that additional documentation may or may not be requested after the information is reviewed. So this is nothing new. If you were looking for to buy blood, if you were trying to enroll by blood, you would always get something to say, hey, if you got anything else for consideration, we'll send it, please send it in. But seeing that we're going by the 1866 treaty, none of that stuff is, we don't need to trace the blood quantum. And of course, this whole page basically talks about the passport photo.
Everything that they didn't argue.
Two, they'll give you two. Just make sure that you take that one, and on the front page of this whole packet, clip it to the right-hand side corner with a paper clip. And this is all it's in. Basically, that any other type of photocopies or any other stuff is not acceptable. We can move on. Next. The Muscogee Creek Nation citizen application. For all those guys that's already has been following us through the federal lawsuit, everything, you should already have a packet already submitted. And with that said, you got a denial letter. Well, that stuff is pretty much on file for the last 3 years. So all you would need to do is basically fill out this citizenship application and sign it, print your name, and let them know that, hey, yeah, you've already applied before. And what they'll do is they'll take that after your Social Security is in there, they'll lock it down and go on with the processing of your application. This is pretty much what Miss Grayson and Miss Lindsay Scott did, and I when we were there. They already know that there's an order, but right now we know that they're committing a stay. But hey, if it's in, we're in. Next page, please.
Mr. Kennedy, can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm a descendant of Elvira Sneed. I'm calling from Canada.
Hey,
so I'm trying to follow along with the documentation requirements. They're very different in Canada. We don't have the Social Security up here. We don't have some of the documents that they're very American. So what's the Canadian equivalent is my question number one. And then my question number two is there going to be a way for me to find out if there's any conflict, because my children are registered treaty Indians here in Canada under their father's band, and our legislation up here says that our children cannot be registered with two different bands. So I need to find out what band it is that they need to be registered under, whether it's matrilineal or through their father, so that I don't get them in trouble or have them lose their entitlement here in Canada.
Okay, well, number one, as to your last question, there is a form in here that says that they can't be dual enrolled. So you'll have to choose which tribe or whatever you want to go with. As far as those documents in Canada, it's a unique situation. However, I'm sure it's not new. Send the basic equivalent of your birth certificate and of course, your driver's license. It pretty much applies the same. I hope I'm making it, you know what I'm saying? You know what is equivalent. There's not another whatever, because that is your certificate of live birth from your country.
Right. So I just would like to, I'll probably have to look into the legality of it because the registration under two different nations, it's dependent upon which country you reside in. So if Canada and the U.S. have an MOU that the children can be registered because the bands are in two different countries, then that would be fine. But I would just need to make sure, or want to find out how to make sure that that would be okay before I go and do that, because I don't want them to lose their entitlement here in Canada.
Absolutely.
You would have to contact the nation for that.
Yeah, other
You
than
know,
that.
just like any sovereign nation, they each will have their rules and regulations about dual citizenship, and it may be a little bit different, right? As opposed to being a citizen of two nations with our both within the United States and being a member of a nation outside the United States, right? A lot of us can have dual citizenship in another country. So that's a Muscogee, I would think that that's a Muscogee Creek Nation question as to whether or not being in Canada makes a difference for that type of dual citizenship.
Okay, I will try to ask them, and I pray that they
I would
answer me.
agree.
And they
I would
probably
agree.
will if you call them. Yeah, if you, they usually, I mean, sometimes, but usually
Yes.
they'll answer your questions like that.
They
You
are.
shouldn't
Okay,
have a problem.
I
Okay.
appreciate the interjection. Thank you so much.
Yeah, they really don't want you double dipping. They just want your money's coming out of one pot. So yeah, that's a great question.
Did you lose the screen, Jeff? Can
I
you
don't
still
know how.
see the screen? Can you still see the
No,
screen?
I don't see the screen.
You don't see it? Okay, that's what I'm asking. Hold on one second.
You may have to reshare. I wanted to ask a quick question, Jeff, or kind of bring this up. So most of, and what we may want to talk about at some point once we get through the application itself is like, how do you determine if you even have an ancestor on the roll, right? Because for some people, I think that might be a legitimate question. And I think that there's also the question or the understanding that most of these people lived so long ago, they're not going to have a death certificate or a birth certificate. And so what you'll have to do is take that roll information, sometimes depending on the tribe, I'm not sure what Muscogee Creek Nation is doing, because I'm pretty sure I provided a copy of my ancestors' enrollment information that shows that they had legal right and that they were on the Dawes roll. But if you go to vital records and say, my ancestor was Robert Williams, but he died in this year, I need you to search that and verify for me that there's not a death certificate on file. And a lot of times that should suffice, because a lot of these people lived in rural areas in which, and this was before you had to have some kind of documentation of death and birth and burial. The vital records can provide you with a document that says they searched and they cannot find a death record on file for this person, and you could you should be able to attach that to your enrollment card to show I tried, but there's not a vital record to go to. But you should also be able to show the lineage. Like for me personally, and I'm sorry, Jeff, if I'm cutting you off, but I can show my lineage from me to my father, to my grandmother, to my great-great-grandmother, to my great-great-grandfather who was listed. And you're going to have to go through all of those people, and I'll get to a certain point, right, where I don't have a birth or death certificate. And that's when I would go to vital records for, say, Robert Williams, and say I don't have a birth certificate because he died in 1925. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that would be why. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely. And a lot of us don't even, like even Ben Grayson, he didn't have a death certificate, but I found a probate record. But like I was saying, but my great grandmother had his name listed, which connected to Ben Grayson on the Dawes roll.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Jeff,
Clarifying question, Zay. Before that, but
Jeff,
yeah.
I'm gonna interject real quick. If we can just get through this process and then we'll have the questions, I think that would be beneficial to us. Because okay,
go back one for the Muscogee Creek application.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, hey, moderator. Yeah, again, this is the application. The most important thing is to fill that out. Of course, your first, middle, and last name, just exactly, they're telling you what you've seen, an application before, just rock and roll. But at the bottom, at the top, at the bottom, it says signature, sign it. Below it, as required, print your name. Next.
Thank you.
This is the lineage chart. Okay, a lot of us probably should already know And if this is your first time, this is what a uh, lineage chart looks like. And what it's asking for at the top is talking about the maternal mother side of the family, of course, the date of birth and social security number if they have it. And of course, your father's side is the paternal side. So when you look down, it'll say mother. The second row is like mother, of course, date of birth, of course, tribe and role. Of course, your mother probably doesn't have one. But if she does, then all her information goes there. So depending on which side you're trying to go on, if it's your mother's side, then you'll take your mother's side, your maternal grandmother's side, or it may switch to the paternal side. Just make sure you fill that in and showing them who you connect to. In the middle of that, you'll see for additional space, please use the back of this page. On the back of this page, you will continue to pick up your parental or your maternal grandparent and all the way to their roll number. Let's see, is there anything else? There was something else about that. Yeah, a little tricky, but you just got to know which side you're going up. But don't put all that superfluous information. If you're Chickasaw and your grandmother was Chickasaw, then you can put your grandmother's Chickasaw roll number there. That just it just follows the lineage. Next, please.
Oh, yes.
Okay, this is your dual enrollment form, and you basically self-explanatory. You print your name, your first, middle, and last name, and it's basically saying that you sworn to affirm that you don't have
just send you a blank.
You don't have enrollment with another tribe. And then, of course, at the bottom, you'll sign it, and you will date it. And you move on. Next page. That's that's the backside. Go on. Okay, authorization for release of information. They'll basically do a search to make sure all your stuff is above and aboard. And it says that I authorize the release of information requested by and from citizen boards of the Muscogee Creek Nation. The requested information shall be used solely in administration of citizenship-related programs. This release includes, but not limited to, the following agencies: programs and services of the Muscogee Creek Nation Bureau of Indian Affairs and Indian Health Services, schools, authorities, local, state, and federal. So this is all internal, so that you make sure that you qualify for all these different services. And of course, at the bottom, you will sign it and you will date it. And of course, at the bottom, it says the above signature is by self, if that is you. If it's the next of kin person, yeah, that would be you. And of course, the authorized representative. So there'll be kids involved in this that you'll have to sign that for, and you'll have to do it for them. Next. The Muscogee Creek Nation Citizen Board true copy of original form of identifications. And essentially what this is about is the qualifying documents to use to complete this. And like so in the standalone primary, it's talking about the state ID or driver's license, more than 3 months, no more than 3 months expired. You can forget that, they will not certify it. Of course, your Oklahoma Self-Defense Act license, that's your CDL card, your concealed carry license. Of course, same way. Everything needs to be current. United States passport, of course, that need not be expired. You got an out-of-state driver's license that qualifies. And of course, your current citizenship ID card with photo, no more than 3 months expired. An identification document issued by the United States Armed Service, issued by the Department of Defense, one of the following. Like I was saying earlier, my brother had his military card, so in lieu of his driver's license, he got a chance to use his military card. Awesome. Said we're still rolling. We're back on track. Secondary, I used my Social Security card, copied the front, copied the back, all on the same, in color, and had it notarized at the bottom. any of those other things you have in your packet qualifies. And of course, the other secondary form is in that far right-hand box, and you can read that accordingly. Of course, it also talks about your DD 214. So, and of course, this is where a lot of people miss it. Print your first, middle, and last name. It says the adult applicant or parent legal guardian of the applicant. And of course, you sign it and you date it. But I advise you to date that in front of the notary public. And he's got to notarize it. Of course, hopefully his commission is current. Next. Affidavit of maternity. The mothers out there, for those kids that are younger than 18, you will be signing this. And it's a self-explanatory. Your mother's full maiden name, born, the mother's date of birth, and place of birth, and a lawful age being duly first sworn, deposes, and says as follows. And then you go on and you list your child. And then, of course, at the end, you'll date it, and then you'll sign it. And, of course, the notary is going to have to, you're going to have this page notarized. And the next page is pretty much the same, but it's just for the fathers. Make sure that those fathers have that name on that birth certificate, on the child's birth certificate, or you're going to have to go through a whole nother hurdle of trying to get your child and its inheritance or benefits. You're gonna have a problem. Of course, you probably already knew that with any of the birth certificates or death certificates that are not fully in compliance. So that's a bridge you'll have to cross. But yeah, the fathers, if you got custody of the kids, then you'll need to sign this for those kids. And of course, you'll sign it as a biological father, you'll date it, and then you'll have it notarized. Make sure that those kids are yours. And that completes that. All in all, this is really a simple process. It shouldn't be no more than you make it. The 2 passport photos. You need the driver's license front and back, and have that notarized in color. You'll need the Social Security card front and back and have it notarized. You'll need original birth certificates linking all the way to that person that's on the Dawes Road. And you should probably already have that if you hadn't already started this process 10 or 15 years ago. But other than that, I find that this process takes no more than probably a couple of hours. If that. You got a color copy at home, all you need to do is prepare that stuff at home and run it to the, get your photos taken, get it notarized probably at the same place, and have it in the mail certified. Because the time is of the essence. This is really sensitive information, and we're up against the clock. Any questions? Or should I just say I yield the balance of my time?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we need certified vital birth certificates for each of our children?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
And if you put them all in one, if you are the head, if you can get them all in and send them in as a packet, you don't have to duplicate those birth certificates or death certificates or any of that.
So I can just only use one for everybody.
One, if all of their documents are with you.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff.
What if you already
have those guys chip in on that, because hey, this is a family thing.
What if you already have a passport? Do you still have to take the passport pictures?
Yes. A little 2x2 is placed on the right-hand side paper clip. Yes, you do.
Now that's only if you're mailing it in, correct?
No.
You still have to do that.
They're going to create an ID with those photos.
To put it on your card.
To put it on your card.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can use your passport.
By both.
You can use the passport in lieu of
Ron?
the driver's license. Anyway, go ahead.
In regards of the affidavit of the maternal, and for example, I'm a grandmother that's raising my grandson, and I'm enrolling. Will that be my signature at the bottom, and I can fill it out, birth certificate, or will they need additional information from my deceased daughter?
You gonna start talking right now.
No, it's you because you're the legal guardian, and you'll show that you'll send along that death certificate and where the court gave you legal guardianship.
Okay,
I have a
so he
question.
actually had the card already too.
Pardon?
My deceased daughter had a card already present.
An
in that
FB card or MCN card?
the MCN card, the
Okay. We'll just link to her number.
Freeman.
Okay. No, it has to be. Do not send that in. That's just for our nation.
Okay. So don't send that in. Okay.
Right.
I have a question.
Yes.
I just got my denial letter
Hey.
January the 16th of 23.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, the courts have granted the Freedmen.
Correct.
So where do I need to go from here?
That application that you probably got off the web, take that Muscogee Creek Nation citizenship application and fill it out, and they'll attach it to your original, and your case is still on file.
So I got to fill out a whole new app,
No,
all of that paperwork?
No,
just
I just said.
just
Help us to be the way that you want us to
Okay,
be.
never mind.
So we can.
It's just the one
living
paper.
for you, Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Lord, we want to thank you for your spirit being felt here
Sure.
in Lighthouse. Lord,
Yeah, it's just the Muscogee Creek Nation citizenship application. Rhonda, can you run back and show that citizenship
Would you
application?
show me that paper, please?
If Rhonda would bring that up, it's in the middle of the application pack.
Someone needs to mute.
Someone needs to mute their phone.
Now.
Host can mute everyone.
Okay, so
Chester Hawkins, Chester Hawkins, that's your hot mic.
Sasha, can you mute everyone?
Yes, he missed him.
but in the meantime, is it
Yeah,
possible?
I don't have the admin privileges, Rhonda.
Recording stopped.
Okay. Hold on one second.
Hey, while we're waiting, Jeff, is that the same for siblings? Somebody had a question about if siblings need two separate applications. Are siblings different than children? Will siblings need two separate applications?
Absolutely. Everybody needs their own application. However, you can.
Rhonda's the host. She can mute everybody.
I am, okay, just a minute. I'm making Sasha a host. Okay, Sasha, I made you a host.
So Jeff, I have a question. My great grandmother was on the Dawes roll. So to complete my lineage, do I need to send in an application for my mother, my grandmother, and then my great grand?
This is kind of important.
To see how long will it take?
I don't know. They want people are just asking questions, but they already went through the
Okay.
application.
Jeff,
People
take
just
yourself
asking
off
questions.
mute.
My bad.
No, that's okay. We had to, because of the individual who was speaking, we had to put everybody on mute. And so that means we have to take ourselves off mute. Going back to the person who had put the application in and got denied. What we had to do when we went to the citizenship office on Friday, the only thing that we did was the very first page.
You're on mute.
Okay. All right. Sorry. So going back to the question about the denial that was received in January, all you need to do is the denial application. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, that denial, all you need to do is fill out that first page, or if you have that denial, your original application, just take that with you or send that in. That's all you need. That's all we had to take in. And that was it. They took our photo and our signature. That's all we needed to do when we went to the Jinx office on Friday. And they took our photo. So that's all you need to do if you received your denial letter. That's it.
I have a question. He was kind of answering my question earlier. I think you alluded to it. I'm here in Tulsa, so I can go to the Jinx office, but we're putting in applications for both myself and my sibling brother who lives out of state. Can I use the same set of birth certificates and death certificates for both of our applications?
Yes.
Yes. Can I take them both in together?
Yes. Yes. Perfect. So, and I'll give you an example. So if I have like my brothers and siblings, all of my information is in there. So my brother, the only thing that they would need to do is just take their certified application in, complete it. They don't have to send in the birth and death certificates of my mother, my great-grandmother, my grandmother. They don't need to do all of that. I've already done all of the work for all of my siblings and cousins and everyone. So the only thing that they would do, so for example, if you're a descendant of America Cohee, the work's been done. So the only thing you would need to do is to tie yourself to, if your mother is the daughter or the granddaughter of that person, you just need to tie yourself to that person with death and birth certificates. You don't need to turn in any records for America Cohee. You'll just need to, you can just reference, say, see Rhonda Grayson's application. So you don't need to send in all of that. That'll save you some monies.
Okay, but can both applications be done at the same time with that one set of documents? My question is, can I take his, if it's all certified and notarized since he's out of state, can I take his with mine? Okay, Jess gives me the thumbs up. Okay, that's what I wanted to be clear on. Okay, and then the second question.
And then I will also say this: if you have any questions, because I spoke with the manager of the Citizenship office, because someone at the Jinx office told someone that they could not submit applications because of the stay. That was incorrect. And they said, if anybody has any questions, they can call our office, talk to a manager, and we'll be glad to answer their questions. So they're being very friendly.
I think this question has been asked, and I was wondering the same thing. On the application, if the lineage chart does not have enough room and it says go to the back, is there supposed to be something on the back, or you just write the rest of it yourself?
Just write the rest of it on another piece of paper. Right. That's correct.
Thank you.
No, you do not. You write it on the back. That's correct.
The back of that particular page.
You write it on the back side of that same piece of paper.
So that all lineages on the same page.
Ron, take yourself off mute.
Yeah, it says, as I stated before, it says for additional space, please use back of this page.
It says that, but they're not requiring it. You don't have to. You can use another piece of paper, okay? They're not. I know what it says. I've spoken to them, been speaking to them for years, but they don't mind if you use another piece of paper, okay?
What if you lose it? And I think the reason why I was thinking that you just keep it simple. As minimal documents as you need to, as minimal documents as you can keep it, the faster they can process this application. But if that extra document comes up missing, they'll throw it to the side.
Thank you.
So just be
in case of a deceased relative, do you have to send both birth and death certificates, or just a death certificate?
Death certificate. That's the final document.
Just the death certificate.
Original.
Just the death certificate.
We're correct.
Okay, thank you.
Referring back to the question that was asked about if you were denied and they're requesting additional information. You had stated to bring a form up there, although they denied for additional information such as needing a Social Security abstract. You don't need to go back and get them the additional information. You just need to sign that form there.
Yeah, if they denied you, they already know that you are. And the additional information was probably because they were looking for blood. They were looking for the by blood roll. If you had any more information that would tie you to the by blood roll, they were seeking additional information. Other than that, you should have known that's why they denied you. However, since they already got a copy of your application on file, that simple application, that citizenship application that we showed you earlier, just fill that out and it's a resubmittal.
Okay, resubmit it, and you don't need to give them the information that they want. Okay.
They know who you are 'cause you already.
Miss Grayson.
Stacia, is there
Miss
anybody
Grayson.
waiting? Let me hold on one second.
Miss
Yes,
Grayson.
yes,
Miss Grayson.
yes.
My great grandfather married Amanda Grayson. Do you have that lineage in your ancestors? He's a Quabner, and he married Amanda Grayson. But I'm going by the Quabner side. I've already submitted everything. They sent me back my denial letter because of the Freedmen thing. So I'm going to take that paper back down there. But I just wanted to ask you, did you see Amanda Grayson in your lineage? Because my great-grandfather, it doesn't click. Okay.
It doesn't click. But Stacia, I'm sorry. They're saying some folks are waiting. Do you see anybody in the waiting to get in?
No, but I'm going to go ahead and go.
I admit it all.
Okay,
Yeah, I was in the waiting.
Okay.
There's a couple of people with their
About a
hands
half
up,
hour.
though. There's a couple of
But I'm
people.
here now. This is Kenneth.
I have a question about the birth certificate. If my mom's birth certificate was back from 1955 and it shows delayed certificate of birth, does that require that she needs to go get some type of original birth certificate now, since her birth certificate is so old?
Ron, you want to tackle that other than the fact that if it was amended, then I would say that before it was amended, that document needs to follow it, but I'm not sure about the delay.
I'm reading like on her original, it says delayed certificate of birth. She was born in 1955 and it's black and white.
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
No, she don't have to get an original. That is the original.
Okay, so even though it's black and white, this is what she needs to send in with her application.
Can I answer that?
They're gonna
Can I
ask.
answer that?
They're gonna ask for secondary secondary proof. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and ask it, Miss Henry.
Hi, my name is Denise. I'm also going through this process, but I used to work for Vital Records here in Oklahoma City. I will say that you probably would want to order her a new birth certificate because of the paper that it's on.
Correct.
Because the state
it's still going to be a delayed birth certificate.
It is going to be delayed, but it's the new paper that it's on. It's the new paper that it's on because the state seal is on the back. They had to change the paper when they have to do the real ID. When the real ID became legal, where you have to have the real ID, that's why the paper changed. So the state seal is on the back of the newer paper. So you can call and order a new one.
A new birth certificate.
It's still gonna be a delayed birth certificate, but that just means she didn't get one when she was actually born.
And then you'll have to send in the secondary forms with that.
Yes.
Yes.
And let me ask another question. My mom is saying that her dad died when he was 40-some years old and they didn't have Social Security cards. So what do you do about that?
Well, that's only if you are submitting, you have a Social Security card. Your dad wouldn't need one. Your dad still living?
It's my mother's dad.
Okay, yeah, it's not applicable, just a death certificate.
He said just
only the applicant needs the Social Security.
Okay.
But man,
I'm
said we
I'm
did.
from California, and I just wanted to confirm.
I have one question.
Thank you.
California.
I have a question.
Go ahead, California.
I have a birth certificate from the county that I was born in, certified copy.
No.
So I have to write to Sacramento.
Yes. It
Okay.
has to come from Sacramento for Californians.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question?
Yes. I have a question. If you submit your documentation, can you also submit for the CDIB card?
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
Right. They'll start that process while they're looking at yours. They're also looking at the CDIB card. But everybody keep in mind, whatever you send, you make sure that you make a copy. Good business sense. Make a copy of your file before you send it.
I have a question.
For the
I have a question.
notarized.
I have a question.
No, that doesn't have to be notarized. The copy of your file, that is just for your own personal family benefit. It's just good business.
No, for the notarized Social Security card, you just want that on a regular paper, or we need a true copy affidavit form, or
No. You just need a piece of copy paper. You just like a Xerox copy, color, and then they'll notarize that paper. They'll notarize that copy.
Okay, we're going to take a couple of more questions, and then we're going to wrap things up. So we have hands up.
Miss Betty was waiting. Yeah, Betty Hawkins.
I was going to say Miss Betty.
Unmute yourself. You muted yourself, Miss Betty.
My question is, as I said, I think one of the people from the Vital Statistics place I used to work there, we talked about earlier about having to write in for people that don't have a death certificate. My father's father, Benjamin Hawkins, who is Kizzy Dixon's, who is Jeanette Grayson's daughter, doesn't have a date. Like, he has a about date of when he died, but there is not like March 9th, such and such and such. I tried to get it from Vital Statistics. They tell me that they don't have it. Now, you're saying that we have a certain time limit to get this stuff in. And they're saying I have to write them and tell them some reason why that I cannot get the date of his death. Of course, we know Black people and Indians, a lot of them did not have those documents registered because of who you were. So what am I to do? You know, I'm like waiting for days and the time is over with. What do we do?
Well, that's the vital statistic. Well, I could just say this, is that I've got a great-grandfather that died in 1913, and he's clearly documented. However, the vital statistics and records do not have a copy of his death certificate. Of course, it say check over and over and over, and time has already passed. And he may not have one, but those that died in the nation may possibly have one of the 5 civilized tribes.
Okay, he's not in that. I am 69 years old, which means my great-grandfather was born in 1860 whatever, or 1850 or whatever, and they do not have records for those people. They just did not make them, and I don't know what to do.
That was my situation with Robert Williams.
With a packet. Oh, go ahead.
That was my situation with Robert Williams. I don't have a death certificate for him because I don't believe that one was ever filed. He actually, I went and looked, he died in 1944, which happened back then that they may not have it. What you would need to do is get a certified copy from Vital Records saying that they searched it, but they don't have that record, and that should suffice. As long as you've got like a Dawes Rolls card, right? Because I also have where he's listed his card number's like 1281. So I have him listed on there. I have him tied to my grandmother as his father. And my explanation was, I'm sorry, there's no death certificate for him. Here's my search that I did at Vital Records with his name, his birth date, his family. They don't have anything because it was never filed, and they should accept it. But it has to come from Vital Records I searched, and they don't have it because they understand that sometimes those records don't exist. You're muted, ma'am.
You cannot go to the Vital Records and go in anymore. You can't, they won't let you come. You have to order everything on the phone. And when I talked to the lady on the phone, she says, we cannot even search for it because you don't have March 9th, 1866 on there. All you have is an about date, which is 1816, okay? And we cannot search for that. And I'm like, well, you know, how am I supposed to do it? She says, well, I don't know. You have to write us and say, you know, they
Yeah,
didn't have
Vital
one or
Records
whatever.
doesn't go back that far. You would have to have your DOS card on something like that anyway, right?
Okay.
Jeff, for those people that live that far back, I don't think they even expect to have a birth certificate or death certificate, but you have to have that DAWS roll card or somehow that you're connecting yourself back to that person.
I do have his roll number.
There you go.
Great. And
Because
also,
they can search it.
Also, if you look at his jacket, his land allotment jacket, or if he did receive the land, sometimes they put a copy of their proof, the death of proof. They got a death of proof certificate in that packet.
Declaration paper?
Well, it's not so much the paper, no, it's an actual death certificate.
Well, I have my grandmother. My grandmother has a allotment number. I have that number of her land allotment, and I don't have it of my grandfather's, but I have it of my grandmother's.
Yeah, but I understand that in his jacket that there's a possibility that you overlooked the death certificate that when he died, he may have died just after.
Jeff, can we get her information and then help her?
Absolutely. Thank you,
That
Ron.
may be, because, you know, that way we can move on. And there's some folks with their hands up courteously. Can we take some of these folks?
Go for
it.
Hi. Can I ask a question? My mother was born in Oklahoma in 43, and she died in California. Can I use her death certificate in California?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Mariah Moore
from Sacramento.
has a
What
question.
about my grandfather? My grandfather, he died in Oklahoma, and we have his death certificate. Will we need his original?
If you have his original death certificate certified, you can use it if you need to use it.
Yeah, because we're going under him. So, we're going under him because he was receiving it before, and it got cut off in 79.
Okay, well, yeah, well, he's your guy.
Gail, will you take yourself off mute and answer the question? Gail put something in the Gail Jackson, genealogist.
Excellent.
Please.
Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was saying you can do a workaround. You get the backup, use the 1882 Creek census, which will probably list him and the family, and the 1890 tribal town enrollment because of the 3 tribal towns that relate to Freedmen. And use that to support a letter that you send to Vital Statistics. All you want Vital Statistics to say is that we did a search and we couldn't find him. And on their letterhead. And then you can back it up with the census from 1882 and the Creek tribal town census from 1890 because people usually enrolled in families.
I mean, who your ancestors, the roll number of ancestors there, man. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Thank you, Gail. Okay, Mariah Moore.
Thank you. Okay, you're all good. Okay, so I just want to get clarification. My grandmother, who is in my lineage, has a delayed birth certificate currently. So we have ordered another state certified copy, but it'll still be delayed. Now, in the checklist, it does say if you have a delayed certificate, fill out the attached affidavit. I'm just trying to get clarification. Is that necessary, or as long as we get a state certified delayed, are we okay?
Ron, I think that was you. Is Ron Graham still on the line?
He's muted.
Unmute yourself though, Ron.
Yes, I'm here. What's going on? I'm sorry.
What's going on? No,
I'm sorry. I did not hear the question.
Okay. If you would, Ms. Moore, repeat that question.
Sure. Okay, so my grandmother, who is in our lineage, who ties us to our Dawes Road number, she has a delayed birth certificate currently. Now, we have requested a state certified copy that will be sent. However, my question is, from listening to you all, you're saying that'll still say delayed. However, it'll be state certified. So what we're on the checklist, it does say, though, if you have a delayed certificate, you need to do the attached affidavit that's attached to the application. And so my question is, even if we have a state certified delayed birth certificate, just clarifying what else is needed as far to support that document.
You can now. Is she the one that has a roll number, or
no? She's just
she's still living. Okay, let's say if that person who had the roll number has you can go to a probate record, and she may be included in that probate record as the grandchild or the child of that person. Okay. Sometimes a Social Security numinate or a school record that lists her parents. You got to find something else that's listed on her as her parents. Was she born before 1950?
Yeah, she was born in 1942.
Okay, now they're accepting that 1950 census. Were her and her mother and father, were they together in 1950? So she would have been a child in 1950. So it should show the family members like that. So you could use a 1950 census. I have used everything I just talked about. So there's other ways you can find it. But
can you use an obituary?
No, they won't really take an obituary. You want some type of federal document, okay? I have used an obituary, but they really didn't rely on that. But they did rely on the census.
Okay, so where it says the affidavit, and this is my last, I know we have other questions and appreciate you all. So where it says if someone has a delayed certificate, just do the affidavit, but you still, so you need to do the affidavit plus submit an additional documentation.
Well, no. If you can get someone that's can do an affidavit, yeah, they will accept that. They'll accept that also.
Okay, because yeah, it does say on the application we can do the affidavit, so that would suffice.
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay.
I have a question. Is anyone checking the chat and responding to the chat questions? And my other question is, if the mother does not have a roll number and the child is trying to apply for one, does the mother need to apply first?
No. They can do it simultaneously.
No.
And the next person up is Miss Williams. Taking these folks with their hands up.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Come on. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, I did ask a question earlier, but I was gonna pay my dues through the PayPal, so I guess that's okay. I'll just make a note. I see where I said I make a note. So, but the question is, I'm looking at my grandmother's birth certificate. So my father passed away, and I'm realizing now that my grandmother's name is not the same name on my daddy's death certificate. I don't know how that's gonna go because she was Diana Black, Dorothy Diana Black, and then on her birth certificate, I don't have her death certificate. I only have her
Hey,
birth
Jeff.
certificate, but I have her mother's name,
Yeah.
which would be, I assume, my direct lineages. Is that suitable, or do I need my grandmother's death certificate anyway?
Sure. What?
I need her death certificate anyway.
Sound like you need a numinate because that's going to have the actual.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, you're going to have to see them for a numinate to the Social Security office in Maryland. Unless Ron's got an easier way of doing it. The Social Security number still the same?
I don't know because I don't have her Social Security number.
Hey, pause it. I need to turn off Doug's.
Yeah, you're going to have to write.
Okay, and then the last question is my daughter. I'm the direct lineage to my daughter and my son, and unfortunately, they don't have their father's name on their birth certificate. Is that going to be an issue?
Big issue. They don't know who. They don't know who your guy is. He doesn't exist.
So they need their names on. Okay.
That's correct. So you're gonna have to get it amended. I don't know if the father will like that, but this is,
Well, yeah, I can get my daughter's amended. It might already be, but I'm not sure because we went through half of the steps, but I gotta see. But yeah, it's possible. I mean, I can get it done.
All things are possible. Yeah, but just be optimistic.
Is it through her father?
Is it through her father, or is it just through
their father?
No, it's just through me. I'm the direct.
You don't need this father. Yeah, you good.
We didn't know if it was your son's name.
No, it's me, and then it's my father, and then it's my father's mother, and then it's my father's mother's mother. That's the direct lineage.
You don't need it. You don't need it. You're good.
Oh, okay.
The kids are just going through matrilineal, and that's where you are. You're good.
Okay. Well, yeah.
As far as your grandmother's name changing, that can happen too. My great grandmother's name is Susan, but on a lot of documents she's listed as Susie. And so what I had to do was go back. Those census documents count. The DAWs documents can count. You may have to put those together to create a total picture of who your grandmother was if that name changes, and that happened a lot back in the day. So that may also be a way that you can make that tie, is to show that my great grandmother's name was Susan, but she went by Susie a lot. And so you may have to tie it that way. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. And with the application, can we add notes? Can we type up something and add a note or no?
You might want to take it in, but that's just
what was you saying?
Oh, you saying fly there and take it to the office? Because I do that.
If you out of state, that's a them question.
Yeah, I can't remember. Is there an office in California? Where are you?
I'm in Georgia right now, but I'm originally from Michigan. So
okay,
I mean,
I was just gonna ask you if there was an office where you are, a Native American office.
No, I mean, if I gotta fly to Oklahoma, I'll get there.
You gotta fly to Oklahoma.
Okay.
Right? Do what you gotta do. This is your inheritance, okay?
Okay.
This is your inheritance, and hey, it'll be something talked about for years to come as to what you did for your family, just like your ancestors and what they did, Trail of Tears. But I don't have to get into that. Thank you, Michelle.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Rhonda. I guess we could have been answering questions in the chat, but I know, but I didn't choose.
I have a question really, really quick, and I didn't know how to raise the hand.
These are long questions. When you say it's really quick, go ahead.
No, okay, so my lineage on my mother's side is what ties us to the Dawes Roll. And she has been incarcerated since I was a baby. So my grandparents adopted me. Do I still need my adoption papers and original birth certificate, even though it's still on my mother's side?
Yes. Anytime you can give them a real clear and simple picture, I would suggest you submit those documents.
Well, is your mother's name on your birth certificate?
No, my grandmother is on my birth certificate.
Oh,
But
wow.
my grandmother is who I'm going through. Like, I'll have my grandmother's death certificate in order to tie me to the Dawes Roll. And she's on my birth certificate.
Oh, so you skip a generation. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You can do that. If
So
not,
do I still need my adoption papers?
Any legal document will help. If not, they'll flag it, and then they'll send you a call if they're not sure.
Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm happy.
My question's about dues. Is there a website that you can pay your dues on?
Zay, that would be you.
Say that again.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, go to the website. We put the website in the chat. And if
Okay.
you click on that, the PayPal link is in there. Sharon Scott is the one that handles applications primarily, I think. So you'll need to let her know if you're filling out the application for membership and you need to pay it that way if you're out of state. But you can always send a check, right, and mail it in with your application. We accept checks and money orders too if people are, hesitant to use PayPal, which I understand because some older people like, I don't know.
Okay. And then one more
Do that,
question.
and that's legit. But
Okay, one more other question is about
I,
the
I,
census.
I,
How do you
I have
get
a question. Can I?
hold please, Terry. Go ahead.
Okay. I have a
Not you,
question.
Terry.
Okay.
Hold on.
I have an office. I have an office
please,
in my
Terry.
city.
Hold please.
Terry.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let her finish and
All
then
right.
and then we'll see. Go ahead, miss.
Okay.
Just a question about the census. I heard you mention that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
How can I find the census?
So I'm a big proponent of ancestry.com, right? I know that some parts of it you have to have a membership for, and I have a membership, so I'm a little bit sketch on what you can do without a membership, but almost all of the records that I used, to download for my ancestry came through ancestry.com. There are some other ways to do that, to search the Dawes rolls and to map out your lineage. That was the easiest way that I found to do it.
And they will accept those records?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're going to search it. They own those records. So if you show it and say, Ron Graham is my cousin, they can go back and be like, oh, okay, we can see where Ron Graham is. So they will accept that as record because they have the original. They can pull it.
Okay.
You can also go to the
I have a question.
You can go to the Oklahoma.
Can we get some of the other folks that haven't? What? No, because we have other folks that haven't had an opportunity, and then we've got to cut this call. So some of the other folks that haven't had a chance, we need to allow them an opportunity as well. Is that fair?
Can Jeff finish what he was saying? Just a minute.
Go ahead.
I have a quick question. Mine is very quick.
Terry, we're just going to ask that you be respectful and let Jeff finish what he was saying. And then
I'm sorry.
Just hit me in the chat with your quick question, Terry.
Cool. Yeah, I was just going to say also that the Oklahoma History Center website is free. So you go on their website and you can do all the searching that you need to do.
Okay,
if you're in Oklahoma, you can just go there personally and get that done. But other than that, from abroad, go to the Oklahoma History Center website. Okay, Zay.
I have a question.
I can't get through chat.
Go ahead, Brenda.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for recognizing me. The Brenda Powell from Houston, Texas. I have a question. My fourth great grandmother, Phyllis Sorrenti, is the first person on the Dolls Rolls, but I also have information on my great grandfather. So could I just start from him instead of going all the way back and submitting my application?
Jeff, yeah, you only need to.
Go ahead, Zah.
No, I was just, I feel like I'm stealing all y'all's thunder. You only have to go back to an enrollee, right? You might be able to go back 6 generations, but why would you go through all that work?
Exactly. Okay.
You don't need to.
All right. Thank you so much.
I have a question. My name is Denise Love. And I am the descendants of the Thompsons from Musckogee, and which goes through the Deans. And on the treaty, it shows that Old Man Dean is on there. So do I still need to go all the way back to him?
No.
The last person.
First person.
Well, yeah.
Same answer as before. Just go to that closest enrollee to you because you're going to save yourself a lot of work.
Which would be Minnie Thompson. Her maiden name was Dean, and then to her mother and father.
That's correct. And then to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Good talking to you again.
Of course.
Hello?
Monique, did you have a question?
Hello?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hi, yes, that answered my question. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Monique, go ahead. You had a question?
No, that answered my question. Thank you.
Okay.
Ray Lewis.
I have a question. My hand's been raised for a while. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm looking on the application and it says married, single, widow, separated, but nothing about divorce. So what do I put?
Keep it simple.
Just put married?
The one that applies. If you are you single?
I am.
Okay, I say you single.
Not divorced.
Not divorced.
No, because I have my still kept my husband's last name.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. If you still got your husband's last name, do you have a divorce decree?
I just ordered one, so I gotta go. I gotta wait for it because it's in.
Okay, that's what you're gonna have to use. That divorce, just a copy, not the original, just a copy of that divorce decree, because you still have your husband's name on your. Is this on your Social Security card also?
Yes, it's on driver's license, Social Security card, everything.
Well, absolutely. You're gonna have to have that divorce decree. Okay.
Okay, and
whatever was gonna be most current. Whatever document, I didn't know if you had gotten a divorce and you went back to your maiden name and your parent. Okay, then.
But my great grandfather was Kyle Tom.
Oh,
okay.
All
right.
And
Cool.
Silas Jefferson.
Great.
And
Okay.
I'm from Sacramento, California. I got other relatives.
Well, let us see your beautiful face. Put your face on.
You got that color, girl?
What color?
You know that Cal Tom, that dark skin color.
You said Silas Jefferson. If you're coming up for Silas Jefferson, you should be able to enroll by blood.
By blood. But why would you do that?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to work this thing here, but I got other family members on here too. My sisters, my brothers, my cousins who, Tony Johnson, he's the one been doing all the research for us. So he came up with and finally he said, I finally got a breakthrough, everybody. So he's been passing this information down. He's been searching for like 4 years. He's been researching for like 4 years. So I want to give him that, and my grandmother, Geneva Jefferson, she told me a long time ago, she said, we have citizenship, we have this, that, I need you guys to search it. We tried, we gave up, we tried, we gave up. So finally my cousin, Tony Johnson, we'll give kudos to him, kept on, but he just was denied because of the blood thing. So he said that he has to be like just send that first page in. But yeah, that's who our Melinda and Cal Tom, that's our relatives.
That's cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Ma'am, if you're coming up for Silas Jefferson, you should be able to come on the blood roll. But if you want to be Freedmen, that's fine too.
No, but how do we come out on the blood roll? We don't know.
Okay, you're a descendant of Silas Jefferson?
Are you a direct descendant?
Yes, Silas Jefferson, my James Jefferson, Silas, and I think Cal Tom and isn't Silas on the treaty? Isn't that sitting on the treaty?
Not Cal Tom's is, but not Silas Jefferson.
Okay.
Okay. Well, maybe Ron, you can get with her and connect. So let's get some of these other folks who haven't had an opportunity to speak. Ms. Rector.
Yes, so my question was, I can find my great-grandmother on the roll. She doesn't have like a roll number listed, but her mother does, her mother's siblings do. So what do I need her mother's death certificate or what?
Yes. If you got to go one more generation up to get to that enrollee, you're going to have to go that one generation up to get to the enrollee, right?
Right. Okay.
So you'll need all of that for them. You'll have to show that lineage all the way up.
Okay, and I believe my great-grandmother, I think she passed away in Kansas. So it would be Kansas vital records that I would need to apply for, right?
It depends on when she died, right? If she died in 18 something whatever, you're just going to have to go to like the census and that kind of thing, because there's probably not going to be a birth or death certificate. You're just going to have to be able to show from those census where your lineage goes through her and eventually ends up on that roll. Does that make sense? The vital records didn't really become a thing for a lot of Black people in Oklahoma until about 1945, 1950. So you start going back before 1950, it's very possible that you're not going to have a birth or death record. And so that's when you're going to start looking for other ways to show through the state, and the census and vital records is one way to do that, that person existed and this is how I'm related to them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to have to go up though until you actually get to someone on the roll. Like you can't just stop at your great-grandmother before she had a roll number. If it's her mother that had the roll number, you got to go to her too.
So I need like what, all her census information? Because I printed out a lot of the stuff from what I seen online that like linked them together. It's from the, I guess it's from the DOS roll or census. It's the DOS.
It's the DAWS roll?
Yes.
Yeah. Because again, those records are owned by the nation. So if you can cite through the DAWS roll where that lineage is, even if that person is not listed, but her mother is, so you have to give those two numbers, or you have to show where that comes down to you, that they'll pull those records.
Okay, because yeah, I have all that. I mean, I trace back 7 generations. So.
Yeah. Most of us, a lot of people in Oklahoma can. So.
Absolutely. We're some of the most documented people in the nation. Say it all the time.
And a lot of us are related.
Watch out.
The lady that was talking before, she said she's kin to Jefferson. My grandfather is a Jefferson, and I couldn't find any information on him except for his military information. So we might need to talk, because I hear all Jeffersons are related.
We do. We will.
Yeah.
We'll put my name in the chat.
I'm gonna put my email address in the chat now.
Rhonda, is that any more questions, do you think?
Does anybody have any more questions?
I have one more question. Yes. Can I get a copy of my grandfather's death record from the state of Oklahoma? Or does it have to be a child? Do I have to go, because my mom has passed, so does it have to be my aunt or my uncle, or can I get a copy of his death certificate?
It's your father?
It's my grandfather.
Yes, you should.
My grandfather's on the roll. And so
Yeah.
that's the last person, that's the closest person to me. Can I get a copy of his death certificate from the state of Oklahoma as his granddaughter? Or do I have to go to my aunt or my uncle to get a copy?
No, you should be able
Ooh,
to
that's a good one.
He died in
you need your
1985.
consent.
A grandparent. So he's your grandfather.
He's
I
my
think you can
grandfather.
get if you can show where your father, Ron, do you have a suggestion?
Yeah, since he passed in 1985, you would have to show the connection of how you are related to that person. So you would need a copy of your birth certificate, a copy of, is it on your mother's side?
I have a copy of her death certificate, which has his name on it.
Okay, then that shows the connection. You would have to email or you could send them that some type of way. But I have the number that you can call for information like that. It's a 1-800 number. If you all, Miss Gracie, you don't mind me giving me that number, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, the number, and this for any state except 2 states, California and New York, that you can't do them out of those 2 states. But the other states, the number is 1-888-219-3786. Again, it's 888-219-3786.
And this
and
is,
you can call them 24/7. You can call them anytime. They're open.
Okay.
Oh, and another thing, if you're also looking for someone that is passed in Oklahoma, you can go to ok2explore.com. And that'll basically give you all the records that they have already scanned in. So if you can't find it then, call back in a few years or go back, but constantly go back to that website and you can order death certificates or birth certificates from the Vital Statistics and Records here in Oklahoma.
Say it again, Jeff.
Put that in the chat.
Okay.
Put that
The
in the
letter
chat.
O, the second part, K, 2, the number 2, explore.com. Okay, number 2, explore. You can do it on your cell phone right now and boom, it'll ask you for death or child birth records. And more than likely, if you can get that year, somewhere around that year, it'll come up. Excellent tool.
So I'm in Vallejo, California, descendant of Cal Tom. Give me your email so we can talk. This is Grant.
Okay, I will.
Hi, this is Shamika. I have a question. A few people have asked me if, although that you saying that each application is its own application, I heard you say that in the beginning, but what if one person has 4 children? Do they have to each have their own separate birth certificates, or can the person mail in that one packet with everyone's application in it?
Oh, and birth certificates. All of accompanying documents should be in it.
Okay, so they can mail one application.
As a jacket, but each application's got its own merit.
Yeah, but do they have to order all separate birth and death certificates is what they're asking? Okay.
They have to have their own, right.
Okay, so one for like the grandparents and the parents and like the whole, like it's a whole new application.
No. You're talking about several applications with the same documents in it. No, just one application. Each have an application in one jacket. So all the official documents are together. You can use if you got 4 children and you're the mom, then you can attach their stuff to yours. And if because you'll have your mom's and your your grandmother or grandfather, whatever. So that way it's all unique.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So it becomes right. It becomes one document for your family, and that way, all your hopefully, if you submit it right, then you'll get roll numbers, sequential roll numbers, which will be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Absolutely. Oh, hey, Mika.
Ray Lewis, did you get your question answered? And Andrea Vandross, did you get your question answered?
No, I did not. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Yes.
And thank
Absolutely.
you all, and thank you all for the work that you have done. It shows we appreciate your knowledge and your willingness to help everybody. So thank you so much. My question is, are there two different roll numbers? So there's because I've heard DAWs and then blood. Because my aunt is saying that we have a bloodline and we also have the DAWs. Is it two different numbers or two different lists that we're looking at?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is something that the government came up with. Yeah, there's a by blood roll, which means that basically if you got 3/4 or more, the way they used to work it, then everything was going to be in, what's the word I'm looking for? Ron, what's that word I'm looking for? You'll be protected.
Okay.
If you're on the Freedmen roll,
No, what's
then
what
if you're on the Freedmen roll, then you can do what you need to do. That means you understand the white man's plight.
What she's talking about? Yeah, the Dawes Commission created two roles, but they're the same thing. One is on the by blood roll. It shows your blood quantum. The other one is the Freedmen roll. Okay, and it was another question that you had posed also. But there's two separate roles on the Dawes roll, the by blood and the Freedmen roll. Okay, and what we're talking about is the Freedmen roll right now. Okay,
which is what we took to court and won.
Okay,
basically.
right. So
Won our
that's
rights.
so that's the one that we've been looking at. But when I heard the by blood, I'm like, was I looking at the wrong list? So I was confused on that. And then
no, that's still the same roll. It's the Dawes. They're all the Dawes roll, with just two different categories: by blood and Freedmen.
Okay, and then my other question was, can someone define what the delayed birth certificate and the delayed, is that when you can't find somebody's birth certificate or death certificate that's called delayed?
Go ahead, Zah.
Usually that's when, for whatever reason, at their time of birth, no one applied for a birth certificate for them, right? My mother was born in 1945. She has a delayed birth certificate because she was from Malika and they didn't apply right away, right? That's all that means, is they did not apply at the time of birth. And so they may have had to go back later and have a birth certificate established for that person. It's usually what that means.
Okay.
Yeah, the word I was looking for was trust. All your stuff is in trust if you're on the by blood roll.
And then my last question. So and I just want to make sure I understand this right. So if my aunt, and we're going through the maternal side. So if my aunt does the work, right? And I've heard that mentioned, if she does the work and she gets everything situated, then the rest of us, my mom, her sister, because my grandma had 9 children. So if the other children that are still alive, once my aunt does it, then we just have to fill out that one piece of paper with the birth certificate. Am I understanding that correctly?
I believe it's direct lineal descent. But if once your mom gets to a certain point, she can connect to her sister, because you all, I mean, of course, which is your aunt.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same documents from on up.
Right. And so we were thinking we all had to order. We didn't order so many death certificates.
What's a family affair? What do you think?
Well, we needed them. I felt like we needed them anyway in our.
There
we
you go.
Needed to have them. I just felt like we needed to have them, but we ordered a bunch.
And I just want to point out, it is also very possible that you have ancestors on the by blood roll and you have ancestors on the Freedmen roll. right? That's a very possible thing to happen. It happens to a number of us. So just be aware that that may also be your case.
But
Okay.
right now you want to go through the Freedmen role and just say
Right.
all that crap.
Because it was something about the Cherokee also. And so, I don't know. Okay. All right. Thank you.
That's dual enrollment.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that dual enrollment thing.
You don't know your kind.
No. And you shouldn't.
Ms. Humphrey, you're on mute.
Okay, I have
There
a
you
question about the Freedmen, because I'm trying to figure out if you're talking about blood rolls, that means you have a certain, as you say, quantity of DNA or blood or whatever that is that would equate you with a particular tribe. But how about the Freedmen? Does that mean that you don't have the blood, or what does that mean?
That basically means that you were placed on the Freedmen roll. My ancestor was Chinny Chachi, better known as Little Jimmy. And in the court case, I basically said, hey, look, I am by blood, however, that my descendant, my ancestor didn't make the final rolls. So they put my great-grandfather, Ben Grayson, number 5329, on the Freedmen roll. So, yeah, documentedly that I have blood on both. However, the side that I'm registered with would be the Freedmen roll.
I see, because I think that's kind of maybe the same thing in our family, because I know my great-great-grandmother supposedly was, but at the same time they talk about the Freedmen, and then she got land and all this kind of stuff, which the white folks stole. But anyway.
We all still got land. The freedman just specifically means that you are a descendant of a person who was at one point enslaved by the nation. You could have some Native American in you. A lot of us still do if you do your DNA. But at that time, it was a visual thing. It was based on ancestry. And I'm looking at you and you look black, so you're going to go to the freedman role regardless of maybe whether or not they were. But you also were probably, you are a descendant of someone who was enslaved in one of those nations.
Yeah, I do have the DNA. I did do the test, so I do have some percentage in my mom's house.
Just remember, there was anybody in involuntary servitude, so it could be white, black, Mexican, or whatever that was living in the nation. But if you were anything other than of African descent, then more than likely you were placed in the Indian role.
No, mine does say Native American too on my
Take
DNA.
it all in 1 year.
I don't believe that there was nobody here in America except for black people.
Any licenses that were over $2,500?
That's a whole nother conversation.
Whatever.
What do you mean? You mean any single ones? Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, we.
Okay, so we're going to
that
wrap
big.
this up. Angela, you have a question?
Yes, about the application. I just want to make sure I have this right. So if my great-grandfather,
It's
I have
all
his
under
Dawes
the
Rolls
same
number, I
number,
only need
line
his
13.
death certificate. Everybody else, I just need their birth certificate, or if they have also died in that lineage, my grandfather's passed, do I need his death and birth certificate?
Just death certificate.
Or the one on the Dawes roll.
And
then if your great grandfather, your grandfather,
the rentals,
that guy that is on
we call it software
Dawes roll,
leases,
name on his death certificate,
and that's under other expenses,
Okay, but
the rentals.
as I go down, like I said, my grandfather has since passed, so I'm going to need his birth and his death certificate?
Yes. His death certificate.
Okay, got it. So now so this birth for people that are still living, death for people that are passed.
That's correct.
Got it. Okay.
So, but what about if they're living, Jeff? If they're living, birth and that? I mean, for anybody else.
Certificate. If they're living birth certificate.
They won't have
anybody else. Right, but anybody else all the way back, because the form says birth and or death.
Because we're calling it software.
So
no, and or.
So that we just wanted, because the people have said, oh, so we could just do the death certificate all the way back.
If you're dead, death certificate. If you're alive, birth certificate.
I don't remember exactly, but this is
got it. That's enough.
You said this is the CPA that
less
you're
money.
working with, right?
That's it.
Exactly.
All right. So
I love us.
I do too. I do.
I haven't heard from you for like 15 years. Good seeing you though.
I know, I just sent you an email and it bounced back, so I said, let me raise my hand.
I am willing to, if the IRS wants us to amortize
this has been a
then
good
they
one.
can
Are there any other questions
come back and I'll
before
owe some money.
Depart?
You know,
Are you going to
if they want to amortize it, but you know.
Do we need to do it again?
Oh, yes.
I just had a quick.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Just
Many people
remember,
I think
help
that
us.
Okay.
Just
join
remember, help me,
later.
help us, help me. Okay, so all you guys that are on the call, make sure that you talk to your family. And the more that you can take care
Yes.
out there, the less we
And
have to
and
do here.
and the,
'Cause
and,
there's
and
still a lot
I
more
have
of us.
the real
So if
estate
you
state
can,
clients that just view the house
be
that
that
I
contact for the family.
that just called that I need to call
And
back. We
join,
need to write an offer.
you guys, because
Join.
we do this, and this is
I
how we
said I
get the
have a real
information
estate
out.
client
This is how we let each other know what's
is
going on.
calling
This is
that
how
I
we
need
know
to
so
call
much.
back
We are sitting at the feet
because I
of
need to
Rhonda,
write an
Jeff,
offer.
and Ron, and I feel like I've learned
Okay,
so
buddy.
much. I probably butted in way more than I should
Okay,
have,
buddy.
but
No,
it's
you did not.
because
Okay,
they,
bye.
Families.
are teaching you. So you're going to learn everything that you need to know, but you really need to be in the room.
Yep, but I think that there's probably people that didn't get to maybe hear the whole thing, or there's just so much information that we missed, or maybe have some backup questions at a later time and date. It would be awesome
Hello.
to if you guys held another
Hello.
meeting like this. I really appreciate y'all, and I had a great time.
Yeah, I think we will
So I
because
gotta-
Mr. Ford and some others did say that they weren't able to get in at the beginning of the call. So maybe we will host another meeting in a week or so. Hello. Maybe a
Who's
good
Mr.
idea.
Ford?
Or if it's recorded, can you release the recording?
There you go with that Mr. Ford again, right?
Oh,
that's
Kenneth, I called you a couple of times and you didn't return my phone call, so you're Mr. Ford.
Oh my. Well, I don't remember getting them, but okay.
No, that's okay.
Hey,
I'm
what
just
was
kidding
that
around
number
with
that
you.
Ron gave? He gave out a number. What was that to?
It was for birth and it was for birth and death certificates. You can call them anytime.
In Oklahoma.
No, it's out of any state. It's the 800 number, 888
219. Yeah, I got it.
219
It's in the chat.
I got the number. I just didn't know what it was to. Okay.
So
Thank you.
Hello, I just need to say that I was a person that was on at the beginning of this meeting, but was kicked out and had a hard time getting back in. So, and I missed a lot of it. So it would be really nice if you guys could either show the recording or have another meeting.
That's an excellent idea.
Quick question. Just want to make sure.
Who's speaking? Who's that was speaking?
Lorraine Fauntleroy. I'm Cheryl Watson's sister. They're part of the Jeffersons.
Okay.
Manny, I'm doing good,
And
man.
you
I was
guys that
trying
are on the
to
call,
call
if
you
you have
back. I was on
photos
the
or
line
anything that you'd
when
like
you
to
called. By the
share of
time
your
I got
ancestors, please
off, you
share
had
that
already hung
information.
up, and so I guess you were trying to call me as I was
You're a
trying to call you.
descendant of in the
or something.
chat. Because like you
That's
like we
funny.
said, we have our museum and we're working very hard to
So
establish
how did it
a
go?
permanent facility. We do have a facility right now. It's a small space, but we're working very hard to house this incredible history. So
Okay.
we need your history. We need the photos. We need the documents and all of that good stuff. Yeah. So share that with us.
And keep in mind, you are living history. You are a protected class of citizens. So every day you live,
Okay.
you're creating history. Just keep that in mind.
Are we
Excuse me, can I
pressed
ask
for,
a
are we
question?
pressed for time because of the stay?
Yes.
Or are we pressed for time? Why are we pressed for time? What?
Because we have to go to work in the morning.
Oh no. I mean pressed for time to get these applications in.
Well, you want to get it in. You're going to be delayed. I mean, the sooner we get it in before like the real stay, because surely they're going to probably block it again. As you saw with the Cherokees, the ones that got their information in, they started receiving benefits. The other ones were locked in the queue for about 3 or 4 years. So you need to get your information in like yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Yes, sir.
So
If my mother is approved, do I have to go through the entire process same as her, or does it expedite it for me?
Have you already submitted your documentation and got a
No.
denial?
No, I have not. I was just asking before I get started.
Oh, you should have already. Never mind. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you should have already been started. Today is the day that you would have been putting a date on that application.
No, I'm doing it now. I'm just asking you if hers is already done. What is that a quicker way, or it doesn't matter because I'm an adult?
Oh, you lost me there. Is there a quicker way to do your application?
I don't think
If my
you'll find that in
mother or a
Outlook.
family member is already
You
approved,
probably
does
wouldn't
that
find that
expedite it for
in
me,
a
or
lot
no?
of
I have to go through the entire thing.
So
Well, you actually need to
obviously
link
they
to
went
your
all the way
person,
through it.
to your
So,
mother that submitted the
which is
application.
why they're asking.
And on your application, you can say, if all your documents are there, see mother
Okay,
application
thank
with
you.
your information, because you'll list it on in your packet anyway, who you descended
Okay.
of.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Diallo, did I answered your question in the chat. You do have to use that link chart because that's how they're showing who you're related to, and then you add the documents that show on the link chart who you're talking about.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you
And if
verified
you
that,
have,
because from
if
my
you know what a
talk
pedigree chart is,
with her,
it looks like a
you know,
Final
when
Four
your
bracket.
dad was talking about he
You
wanted
can
to offer
submit one of those
100,
because I'm not saying that
I
everybody
don't want
is
to
as
go
smart as
and
you,
get them,
but it gives
you
you a
know,
graphic representation of how your
at some
family
point
is.
I
What was
think
that? Was
you,
that
you know,
Shay?
Pedigree chart.
What just happened, Jeff?
I have no idea.
Yeah. I think I attached a pedigree chart because I didn't like theirs, and that's just me. I just attached it. You might, Jeff is a big proponent of using theirs, but I typed mine all up because I have a problem, and so I just attached it.
Yeah.
Of course, at that time they
did the
rejected
same
it.
thing.
Yeah,
Right.
we pretty much
I did the
kind of
same
did
thing,
because they're
just
not as
saying.
smart.
Right.
Yeah, I did a graphic one also. So if
But
you need
it
to Google
has
a
to have
pedigree
one with
chart,
it.
yeah, if you need to Google a pedigree chart, yeah, you can Google one and turn it off and write it up.
Can I ask a question, please?
Go on.
If if I sent in my application and it was denied in 2021, and if I don't have the denial letter, do I need the denial letter or just that
I
first
kind of
page?
had the feeling just from
Okay.
what you were
Thank
Yeah,
saying,
they
all
may
of
not
them,
have
what
already
they did
processed
to
your
the property.
they should have already processed your
And
application,
you know,
but they didn't give you a denial letter.
But hearing,
yes,
you know, you guys
Oh,
going
okay.
through
Yeah, what you would need to do
and
in
all the
form of
9 yards,
resubmitting is
you
that
know,
Muscogee Creek Nation citizenship
is
application
how can I put it?
that we showed you in the current packet. Just fill that out.
Remember when I
Yeah.
And I don't have to turn in my denial
Angela,
letter.
did you have a question?
at the house and say,
No, they
I
already
did.
how bad do I
Yes.
want the house?
They got you in the system.
Thank you.
To do like that
Miss
180
Angela
stuff,
Scott is trying
190
to
stuff
wave.
means you can take it or
Thank
leave
you.
it.
I wanted to know if this Zoom meeting will
your
be
dad can take it or leave it
available
because he's
later,
not the one who
and
owns
how do
the
I
house.
get to keep a copy of the
Right.
chat? Because there was a lot of information in the chat. And hi, all my cousins.
Watch out, kid, folks. Yeah, Miss Grace.
So we will make plans to host another one of these meetings because it seems like we need to have another one. We will certainly do that maybe within the next week or so. Ron, are you available perhaps next week?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll make plans to host another meeting. I think we need one.
Well, Miss Grayson, if you don't mind me stating, I'll be in Oklahoma City at the History Center this Saturday between 3 and 4:30. If somebody want to just stop by and get some assistance, so I'll be at the Oklahoma History Center.
That's great. That's great.
I'll be out of the
All right, guys. I think we're going to call it a night. I know many of us have worked all day today, and you're probably pretty exhausted. I know I am. So thank you all.
I just want to
joining.
say thanks. I just want to say thanks for doing all this. I appreciate it. It's super informative, and a lot of hard work. And I had a question though. So with the recording, is that going to be sent out to family? I had family that couldn't join for a couple of given reasons. So I was just curious if this session would be sent out because there's a lot of great stuff that was talked about.
I think we're kind of hesitant to do that because there's a lot of personal information that goes on here too.
Yep. I get that.
We want it to be kind of
So
a safe
we'll like
space.
Rhonda
That's
said,
why,
we'll have more meetings, and we'll try to make it to where people, we'll keep it
yeah, we
in
Understand that
wanted
the
this to
completely.
vault.
be a
But
safe space. That's why we, you know, had folks to register and all of those things so they can feel free to, you know, chat and
Understand
do all of
100%.
those things. So,
That makes sense.
Shout outs to Mark Chairs, Kinfolk.
Yeah,
all
shout
right,
out
guys.
right back
Thank you
in.
so much. We appreciate all of you.
Sharon, all you guys, thanks a lot. Thanks so much.
Yes.
power to the
Yes.
people. Keep fighting.
All right. Hey, we got to
Thank you,
keep
guys.
fighting. You know that.
Power
So
to the people.
absolutely.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
So if we,
Mr.
if we
Mr. Ford, what's been going on in Kansas City?
You're lying.
Oh, hey, how's everybody doing? It's wonderful. Congratulations. I haven't talked to any of y'all since the event, but hey, y'all done a good job. And I put in the chat that being a strong freedman is kind of sexy now. So
watch out.
How about that?
Watch
It
out.
always was, just like being black. What? Just because
Look out
everybody
now.
catching up,
All
don't
right,
mean
all
it
right.
ain't always been true. Okay.
But it's been slow going in Kansas City, but I tell you, the excitement is boiling over now that the decision has come down. And so, well, I was planning on having a meeting with my family sometime next week. So maybe we can maybe I can get everybody just to join in on your meeting to make sure that we keep it all together.
Email
Get those
her
I'll look into
documents
that.
in. Just get those documents
so
in. I just want to
that
urge that to
she
everybody.
can
Get those documents in
Okay.
as soon as possible.
get me the stuff.
Or at least in a
Did
time frame of 4
you
to
want
6 weeks. So
to?
anything can happen. They
So
can
where do you
start
want to go
processing
from
within
here?
the
Do you
4
want
to
to get
6 weeks.
your
So you
dad
have
on
to
the
be in
line?
that
Do you want
lot.
to
Or you're
discuss
that
this?
number.
I think
Be
you got to
that
start at
number.
205. Do you want to
There
just
we go.
tell them that that's where
Bye,
you want
Rhonda.
to
I'll talk
start?
to you
That
later,
I
sweetie.
think that
Thank you, buddy.
what
Thank
do
you,
you
Zay. I
want to do?
Bye, you
appreciate you.
guys. Of course.
God bless everyone.
I'm
All
heading
right,
out too,
bye.
Rhonda.
I am too. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.
Excellent job, Ms. Grayson, as always.
Thank you.
Kennedy is out. Miss Ragsdale,